WCW Nitro number 212, also October 11th, 1999.
I'd be happy to talk about Gorilla Monsoon here. So they did a video on both shows, and then, man, poor Bobby Heenan had to say goodbye to his friend Gorilla Monsoon. This was so sad. Vince is just doing the voiceover. He was the finest man I've ever known. That didn't do much for me.
No.
I'm sure he was a fine man.
Bobby, on the other hand,
Bobby
made me cry.
Really made you sad
Yeah.
that his friend Gorilla passed away.
When he was speaking, the performer inside of him was able to turn on and perform and be there. And as soon as he was done with his lines and Tony was talking, Bobby just fell apart.
Yeah, but then Bobby asked him about the show tonight, and he was like, well, this Brett and Benoit is right back on again.
As long as he's talking, he's fine.
He's a professional.
When Tony is talking, he's quivering, his lips trembling. It's tragic. It is literally tragic to watch.
Well, he's probably remembering all those fun shows he did with Gorilla Monsoon, and he was sitting here next to Tony about to call Nitro.
That probably didn't help.
He said that they were going to post up Gorilla at the pearly gates, and it would now be known as the Gorilla position.
Mm-hmm. So Brett and Benoit arrive together. Lex and Liz taunt them.
God, it was so bad.
I cannot even bear to go
Liz
into more
was so fake. Why did they ever make her talk?
I don't know. Dean Malenko and Saturn were bickering. They agree they both hate Shane. Saturn's defending himself from Ray. Revolution sucks.
They do. Not only do they suck, Vinny, they just kind of got started like a month or two ago. Right? How long has Revolution been around? A couple months?
About 2 months.
Now they're already breaking up again.
If they both hate Shane, why don't they get rid of him?
Because the reality is they don't both hate Shane. Saturn likes Shane.
Well, I think
Saturn was
does.
lying here.
They all hate each other. They're all lying to each other. It's just such bullshit. By the end here, I actually just think, wishing, man, please just bring back the dysfunctional horseman. Did you realize by this point Pillman was dead? That'd be difficult. But Revolution's worse. Revolution is worse than the dysfunctional horseman. And I didn't think that was possible. So Saturn and Ray Jr. are having a match.
Dude, they had a great match until the lame finish.
The match was awesome. My favorite part, I don't know if favorite's the right word, the most notable part, Saturn's on the floor. And when I say on the floor, he's laying on his back. His feet are pointed towards the ring. His head's pointed up the ramp. So Ray says, I'm going to hit this man with a somersault senton. So Ray comes flying down. Ray's ass lands on Saturn's face. I have no idea how Ray didn't break his tailbone. I have no idea why we couldn't see Saturn's brain. Just brutal.
This was not the most notable thing in this match, Vinny. They do a spot where they both go for a drop kick.
Yes, that was great.
And sometimes you see two people try and drop kick each other and their feet hit and they both fall down.
Yeah.
Well, to quote Tony Schiavone, they scissored each other.
That is exactly what happened.
In quote, the you-know-where.
Yes.
To which Bobby said, the groin area.
Yeah.
I laughed.
A flying scrotum
hard.
collision is what happened.
They scissored each other in the you-know-where.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Yeah.
So Shane runs down. Dean stops him. Kidman hits the ring for the DQ. Saturn is declared the winner. I can't keep track of who's on which team anymore, so I don't know if Kidman was trying to help or whatever. Kidman challenges Shane to a tag match. Dean is with Kidman and Ray, but he leaves with Shane, but he's yelling at Shane. Fuck this!
Vinny, it's just a very complex storyline.
No!
Involving a bunch of individuals who aren't sure about each other right now. This is real.
I fucking hate this so much. I hate this like you hate heel refs.
Oh, get out of here, Vinny. This was fine.
No.
It makes sense at the end of the show. Saturn is a heel, and Douglas is a heel. Malenko is a babyface, but Saturn is trying to convince him. And if you watch the show, last week there was evidence that Saturn was on Douglas's side. Saturn this week just tries to plead his case, but he's lying.
Why?
I don't know.
Fuck you.
Get out of here, Vinny. Fuck off.
If you
just watch a goddamn show where a guy got...
That was worse.
It was fucking far worse.
It's far worse.
So like this.
No.
Get out of here.
This match was weird.
Just break up if you're going to break up.
They do on this fucking show. You're getting what you wanted. Calm down. That's what this whole show is about, them breaking up. Right?
Sure.
Yes. Thank you.
This match started off with an apology, by the way.
A fake apology?
Yeah.
which Ray was too smart to accept.
Thank God.
Ray's the only smart one for now. Meng video.
Yes.
Let me guess. You thought it was dumb.
You know what we need here in 2018 that we could actually do in 2018? Meng versus Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Flair and Arn were impressed with the Meng video, and in hindsight, I have no idea where that went.
Nowhere. Flair and Arn are just watching it, and Flair says he's the real deal. It's product placement for Surge or whatever that fucking thing was they were drinking.
I see.
Or their Horseman vitamins.
Kaz Hayashi versus Disco Inferno.
Is that what they call them? Vitamins?
They actually did have Horseman vitamins. We saw them in the...
Yeah, they plugged him on the NWA show this week.
Yeah. Wasn't a
Power
bad match.
Formula number 1 and something like that.
Power Formula number 2.
Was it Power Formula?
They did not put a lot of work into it.
It was something like that.
So it was not a bad match. It just rambled on forever. Only went 6 minutes, but it felt like 20. Disco won with a chart buster.
Nobody cared until the end.
Disco's hair does not move. Ever.
Hey,
it's amazing.
You're right. Meng versus Conan.
Okay, before that, I don't play modern video games.
What?
But every year I see the... Yes, Rob?
No, I was...
Oh, he was...
Had an itch. Sorry.
He had an itch. He was scratching it like that.
It's going like this.
Okay. Anyway. So every year I see the clips of the modern WWE 2K video games. And it's so good now that you can put them on YouTube and Granny thinks it's a real match.
Well, that is true. That's
right.
Yeah. This fucking video game was so low rent. WCW Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Pong.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh.
I'd go that far.
I was playing games then, and as I recall, Mayhem was particularly terrible.
It was pretty bad, yeah. But not Pong bad.
Well, Pong was good. Which is simple.
So Sid, as you recall, has had car issues in recent weeks.
I'll say.
So they said Sid smartened up. He did not drive his own rental car to the arena. He didn't get a limo. He didn't get a town car. He took a taxi. Sid took a taxi to the arena. I don't know, made me laugh. So May and Conan are doing this match.
Meng has been on, quote, an extensive tour of the Orient.
Of course. It's all choking and no selling. Mm-hmm. Conan makes his comeback, and he goes for a sunset flip. I do not have the physical or verbal talents to do justice what happened next. Suffice to say, Meng did the best Tongan death grip of all time and won.
Meng is swinging his hands backwards like this to try to keep his balance. And then suddenly he starts going like this. Like he's humping something.
He's doing this.
And then he goes like this.
The funky chicken.
And he holds his hand in preparation for the Tongan death grip for a moment. He doesn't go right for it. He does his wacky kata, and then he pulls his hand back, and he gives Conan time to think, and then hacha! He puts it on.
It was so awesome.
Conan is pinned.
I watched it like 5 times in a row.
Oh yeah, it was the greatest finish. It was the greatest performed finish of all time. I can't say it was the greatest finish.
Sure.
But as far as the performance put into the finish,
The execution.
I've never seen anyone greater.
It was fantastic.
That made the show.
Berlin and the Wall jumped Brad Armstrong. He no-sold this beating from 2 men and wanted more. That sucked. The Outsiders arrived in the crowd again.
Fuck. Bobby Heenan tries so hard.
He does.
He's out there, goes to interview them. He says with a straight face, they're the greatest tag team I've ever seen. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Yes,
I know that's
yes, he
your
is.
job, but like, have a little bit of credibility. Nash says he's still retired. Hall says his back is sore from bending over backwards carrying this company. They're just here to watch Goldberg. And they ask when they'll be back together again. When is a band going to be back together? Nash's response, which is so fucking hilarious, is July of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time ago now.
Yeah, that's true.
And back then, that was the far future.
Did anyone do the research and see if the Outsiders actually had a match in July
I'm sure they did
2012?
an Impact. They had to have.
I like their consistency. They bring 2 drinks to the chair with them. Every time.
And 2 women waiting for him.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. And these 2 women, actually, there was a hot girl in the crowd, and it was not one sitting by Nash at all.
Did we mention when they wished happy birthday to Dusty Rhodes?
No.
Oh, we did now. Goldberg is doing his entrance. Sid confronts him. They jibber-jabber a bit. And 41 minutes and 30 seconds into the show, Sid does the best cackle of all time. I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. How did Sid win worst on promos?
Fuck if I know. You're lucky I'm distracted here because I would have put him in the Hall of Awesome, but now I've lost my mojo. Trying to figure out this 2012, 2013. Kevin Nash, you know where Kevin Nash was in 2012?
Of course I don't.
Golf course.
I'll give you all. I'll give each of you one guess, including Rob, because he's jumping at the bit here because he probably looked it up on the internet while we were doing this. Vinny, your guess?
Recovering from leg surgery.
No.
Was he in WWE at the time?
Hey, what's your answer? You don't ask the question.
WWE.
Rob.
Well, Vinny kind of took mine, but I was going to say recovering from quad surgery.
No, in fact, he was in NXT.
Really?
Excuse me.
Yes.
He was just developing.
He was in NXT.
Scouting
he was
talent?
the guest match commissioner. And
What does that mean?
did some other stuff as well.
He was scouting talent.
Yes.
Well, you got to work. Got to learn how to work.
Yeah,
Face
main
the
event
camera.
style.
So yeah. Goldberg versus Horace.
Nash helped DX take down Damian Sandow. It was a very, very...
I think I actually do remember that now.
Yeah.
What they did, like play it on Raw and stuff. Yeah. So when Goldberg comes out to wrestle Horace, I was like, why are they wasting my time with this? Then I remembered, it's Goldberg. It's never a waste of time.
Furthermore, why does Goldberg need a police escort?
He doesn't, Craig. That's his gimmick to make him unique.
It's not to protect him from the fans
Okay.
or anyone else. It's to protect other people from Goldberg.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So for the first half of this, it's Goldberg versus a heavy bag. Horace is just a large piece of meat in there for Goldberg to punch and kick and throw. It was beautiful. Horace did get some offense. Goldberg, to be fair, I am not a jiu-jitsu black belt like other people in this room, but I'm pretty sure Goldberg's armbar sucked.
Yes.
Yeah. Goldberg hit a spear.
Don't tell him I said that.
A spear. No, don't worry. He hit a spear and a jackhammer and he won. The spear and the jackhammer were great.
What was also great is he gorilla press slammed these huge man with ease.
Held him around for a while. Yeah, Goldberg's awesome.
What's everyone think about Sid going to the Hall of Awesome?
I'm okay with it.
We got 3 people here, so...
Can we do just Sid's promos?
Nah, it's either he's in or he's out. We don't have to put him in. I mean, there's more Sid coming.
There's more Sid coming.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to abstain from now.
All right. I'll wait. He was pretty goddamn awesome on the show, taunting Goldberg, though.
Last 2 weeks, he has entertained me.
3 weeks now.
3 weeks
Yeah,
of 3
yeah.
weeks of intense entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertained.
And we'll get to his matches later.
I wasn't wowed or blown away, but I was entertained.
Oh, I was wowed. I was blown away. Gene's interviewing Hulk Hogan. Asks him about internet rhetoric. Gosh. Hulk doesn't want to talk about it. Runs down Sting. Vows to kick his ass. His music plays. He cuts it off and says, wait. At Halloween Havoc, I'm going to get the last laugh, brother. And he leaves.
Doing intense research here.
Nitro Girl segment.
Can we just get Stacy Keibler already and just get it over with?
We had Amy.
What in the fuck are we waiting for here? Is this an angle or is this real?
I think
I'm pretty sure they're real.
Jesus,
Nitro
God
Girl
almighty,
audition
this is
on
horrible television.
We had Amy and her whacked out eyebrows from Birmingham.
the worst.
And Tiffany, who I thought was pretty cute, from Biloxi. And she likes Junkyard Dog and Teddy Biasi. She's a Bill Watts guy. Bill Watts lady.
I could not care what any of them look like. I'm over these segments. They've got to end. You hear me?
David walks in on Tori wiping something off Billy Kidman's face and he's upset.
No, hold on a second. Fuck, Vinny. I knew you were going to do this. David walks into the room. How do you miss this? David walks into the room and Kidman is putting his pants back
That's true.
on.
That is true. That is true.
Okay.
I'm a slow typer, dude. I got a lot going on.
He is putting his pants back on.
Because they were off.
And
you see.
David is worried about what's on his face?
Well, that's what happened.
How about the fact that he was in the room with your woman with his fucking pants off?
Maybe they read the script wrong.
Who gives a shit what's on his fucking face? Get out of here, Craig.
Maybe he's just a nudist. He's naked all the time back
Tells
there.
him to go talk to his dad. She's busy.
Yeah, she totally blew him off.
This idiot is not getting the hint.
No. He will not get it later either. Knobs versus Stevie Ray in a street fight. So.
Hey, listen. Listen.
Go ahead.
This was a hilarious mess.
Oh,
Yes.
it was.
It was fucking bad, but it was funny. I laughed. It was awful, but it was funny awful. This is the kind of stuff I want out of WCW.
So
Don't just bore me. Entertain me with how bad you are.
between the two guys in the match, that's fair. Between the two guys in the match and Booker T and Hugh Morris and Jimmy Hart, there's 5 dudes out there running around whacking each other with weapons. In the middle of all this, it becomes very important that Hugh Morris trip Stevie Ray.
Fuck.
So Brian Knobbs is on his hands and knees, and Stevie Ray goes to like pick him up and grab him by the head, but then he just freezes. And nothing happens for a while. And everyone's just like, what's wrong with Stevie Ray? At this point, Brian Knobbs screams at the top of his lungs, Hugh! Hugh Morris! Hugh! Hugh Morris! He had to clarify. There was some other Hugh who wasn't listening.
Well, maybe he was concerned that someone would think he was yelling, you.
And eventually...
Or maybe he thought they were yelling that something was humorous.
I thought he was actually yelling you. I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And I realized he's trying to get Hugh in a position for the spot. And the spot is... Hugh is at ringside. Stevie hits the ropes. Hugh grabs his feet. Stevie kicks him or something. Or Booker T hits Hugh or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was not important at all.
All I know is, why do we have to distract and or bump the ref in a street fight?
I don't have an answer.
Great.
Like, we got to make sure the ref doesn't see something that's happening legally because it's a street fight and you can do anything you want. God, I hate this show sometimes. But this was still funny.
Brian Knobbs coming off the second rope with a trash can, and everybody moves, so he lands on the trash can and compacts it. That was funny.
So eventually Knobbs wins after Jimmy Hart hits Stevie with a trash can. Shane Douglas calls out Revolution.
Okay, I'll admit the first thing I wrote here was, this storyline is awful. Okay? But at least they were wrapping it up here.
I guess.
Shane, first off, Shane comes out and he says, it's time for the Revolution to come out and air their dirty laundry.
They didn't wrap it up here. They had a match later.
Would you shut up and listen? Shane says it's time for the Revolution to come out and air their dirty laundry. They're playing their fucking music when they come out, and they won't shut the music off. So Shane is screaming into the mic at the top of his lungs to try and talk over the music. So Dean starts screaming at Shane. Shane starts yelling at Benoit. Shane's big. He's so upset that Benoit had the temerity to ride to the building with Bret Hart. If you can't ride with us, why are you part of the Revolution? We must engage in transportation together in order for this unit to work. Benoit says, fuck you. He takes his shirt off and he leaves. They're done.
Foreshadowing his actual departure from the company.
He's out. So they're all screaming at each other. The 2 remaining members, because we're already out of member, Vinny, because it's wrapping up here on the show. 2 remaining members walk out on Douglas as well. One guy's already out, Chris Benoit. He's washed his hands of this shitty fucking unit that did nothing for them.
Did you mention that Shane was mad at Dean because Kidman ran in, which meant Saturn won by DQ instead of getting a pin?
Yeah. Hey, you got to get that W, Vinny. You got to get that P.
It's Dean's fault that Kidman ran in?
Well, who knows? He's a heel. He's not looking at things rationally.
La Parka versus Brad Armstrong.
What a fucking bizarre match.
I'll say that again. La Parka versus Brad Armstrong.
La Parka, the current day LA Park, against Brad Armstrong. And they just had a match.
Just had a match.
His walkout gear was awesome.
La Parka went to a Guar concert, got some extra gear, put that on. So the announcer's like, what's that on his trunks? And I look up, and La Parka on his trunks has Solo Para Timbonis. I went to Google Translate. Only for Timbones.
Huh?
That's what it said.
Okay.
Made me laugh. So Brad's like down selling, but he's not flat on his back. He's on his side. And La Parka does a moonsault and comes down on his legs. Oh, gosh. I was certain there was a broken leg here. It looked so bad. There wasn't. Armstrong continued.
Timbonis?
Timbonas.
Oh, Tim. Okay, keep going.
Brian's investigating.
There's a ref bump. The wall beats up La Parka. Brad beats up Berlin twice, but turns his back and still gets laid out with a neck breaker. Mm-hmm. He ends up on top of La Parka. The ref counts 3 as Berlin is standing in the middle of the ring and posing. This sucked!
That doesn't fucking help me. Timbonus. Plural and feminine of Timbone.
Timbonus.
What did it say in his tights?
Solo, para, Timbonus.
Okay, well, Timbones would be the plural of Timbone, which would be fat-bellied.
Okay.
Only for fat bellies.
Yeah.
He's not lean.
Maybe he's a chubby chaser.
He's bones.
He has bones. It's true.
Yeah. He's looking for some meat to put on them bones.
See, aren't we all?
He's looking for some meat to put on them bones.
I understand this one, Brian.
Thank you.
Your message is getting through.
Thank you.
Kurt Hennig is hitting on Tori Wilson backstage. David Flair tries to interrupt. Kurt has the best response ever. Mm-hmm. Hey, Flair, buzz off!
It was even better before where he's trying to hit on Tori, and you just walk in on the conversation where he says, I have 2 CDs.
He said that too. He says, hey, Flair, buzz off. Don't peek over my back fence. I'm doing business here. I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed.
Because Kurt Hennig is awesome.
He was so awesome here.
Oh, by the way, I was so busy looking up Timbones that I didn't really get a chance to talk about the finish of the La Parka match.
We did.
So, are you telling me that Berlin hit Armstrong, who he's feuding with a reverse neckbreaker? Armstrong then fell on La Parka and won.
That's what happened.
You're telling me that happened?
Yes.
Okay. So, how in the fuck is Berlin supposed to get any heat if his interference led to his rival winning? I fucking hate interference finishes like this. But, like, make it make sense. Why the fuck would I care about watching them wrestle now? He beat him up and helped him win. Mm-hmm. So dumb. This is almost as bad as the Bulldog finish, but not even close.
So, back to Hennig and Tori and David. Tori repeatedly made it explicitly clear here she did not want David around and wanted him to leave.
Look at her.
Well, no, but the point is, David wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
So when Kurt
Look at her.
When Kurt
This is David Flair we're talking about.
When Kurt beat him up, it was deserved.
Kurt
Hennig was chivalrous here.
Run over him with a car, and he'd be trying to get back with her.
She fed the stray dog.
I get it.
Yeah.
I've been the stray dog at times before, but anyway, yeah. David had this beating coming. Kurt Hennig did the right thing. Berlin versus Norman Smiley. Norman had a great comeback here.
He actually did a very good comeback. He wiggled his Johnson.
He did.
Fans were into it.
And it worked.
Yeah.
People love the big wiggle. So you threw me off my game.
And he's on medication.
I threw you off your game.
I have no game.
You
By the
said
way,
it.
Norman Smiley from Great Britain, Berlin, Germany, crowd chants USA.
Yeah. He's from Great Britain and found fame in Mexico.
That's right.
He's from Mexico City.
That's right.
Yeah. So Berlin hits a jumping knee. That was not anything Kenny Omega
They chanted
would be proud
USA
of.
because they wanted this match to be over.
Berlin won with a neck breaker.
Maybe that was Russo chanting it. Because this was the week that he did the famous interview about how I'm an American. I don't want to see Mexicans. I don't want to see Japanese guys. I want to see Americans.
Okay. Gene interviews Flair. Flair runs down Hennig.
He runs down Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
Did you call him that?
Yeah.
Oops. He ran down DDP, who has a match with the pay-per-view with, and then he mentioned, isn't DDP married to Kimberly?
Gene knew that he had to answer the question, but he didn't want to have to answer the question.
That's right.
And so when he says, isn't DDP married to Kimberly? Gene's response was, yes. Because he knew where this was going.
And so Flair offered to either fuck and or pile drive Kimberly. He
Or
just said,
both.
Or both.
Would be my guess looking at his body language.
He said, I'm going to give her one of these. I went, ugh.
Did you get that, Rob?
Over and over again.
I did.
Okay.
Over and over again, that's what he did.
He was out of his mind.
Seems a tad
Completely, totally out of his mind in this promo. Sweating like crazy.
Saturn and Malenko versus Kidman and Ray in the fucking Revolution.
Vinny, I really like this match.
Fuck you.
I thought it was a very, very good wrestling match. I will admit that Kidman is an absolute moron for taking an overhead belly-to-belly from Saturn over the top to the floor.
Yes.
Not even the padded mats. He landed on the ramp.
Yeah.
You dumb shit.
Like on a side, too,
I don't care what the guy's doing with Tori. That's a stupid fucking idea.
Yeah. So, Saturn and Malenko are not getting along. They're bickering. They're shouting at each other. They're shoving each other. They're breaking up their own pins. But you know what? They're still kicking Ray and Kidman's asses because Ray and Kidman are total fucking geeks.
Well, they're smaller men.
Pussies, then. Weaklings. Wow. They're just getting destroyed.
2018, you can't say that anymore.
They're getting destroyed by these men who can't even function. Everyone came off like a total loser in this match.
No one's a loser, Vinny. They're all winners.
The crowd liked it more than I did. So Shane nuts Kidman. He throws a chain to Saturn. Saturn hits Kidman with a chain. Saturn pins him. Fuck this.
Oh, man. I like this. I thought it was a good match. In fact, I wrote a great match. Great story. Everybody was awesome. Douglas and Saturn are clearly heels. Malenko's a babyface who was appalled. He rips up his shirt.
Dipshit.
He quits the Revolution afterwards. He's out of here.
Finally. Only took him 3 weeks.
Yeah. There was a moment in this match. You were so busy just being blinded by your rage.
Yes.
That you weren't doing your job and watching and analyzing the fucking match.
It's my job to be enraged.
Ray is down on the ground. And he's he's supposed to be on all fours. I don't know whose fault this was. But Saturn is going to give Ray an Oklahoma roll. He's going to jump over him to do the roll. Okay. When you do an Oklahoma roll, your opponent needs to be on their hands and knees.
Right.
Okay. Ray has one knee down, but he has his other leg extended straight out to the side.
Oh, God.
Fucking Saturn does this move. I was watching it, and I went, oh, my fucking God, you just destroyed his knee. And they go for the cover, and Ray kicks out, and seems fine. But if you watch the match, he's fucking grabbing at his knee from that point forward. That's probably one of the 9 million ways that he fucked up his knee, because it's always something stupid where you get hurt. A fucking Oklahoma roll blew out Ray's knee here. Go back and watch it. It's brutal when you see it.
Sid Vicious versus Van Hammer.
Oh, and you're going to bitch about the previous match?
Last week, we had Sid Vicious versus Brian Adams. It's clear they're going through the bottom of the roster trying to find the worst possible Sid Vicious match. But you know what? They keep being okay.
Okay. It would have been okay if it had ended in 3 minutes. I think it went 19. It was way too long.
Fine.
When it was over, I had no interest in Sid versus Goldberg. That's how bad it was. It wasn't terrible, but it just... First off, I'm watching the match, and I just hear this weird noise in my house. And I'm like, who's here or what's fucking going on? I realize it's Sid breathing. I literally had to pause it, and the sound stopped.
Yes.
And then I turned it back on, and it was like, ugh. It's just weird caveman breathing that he does.
Yeah.
Fucking just, they wrestle. And then Hammer is like beating on Sid. And I'm like, why is Hammer beating on Sid? Then Rick fucking Steiner comes down. They have to double team Hammer to allow Sid, who is going to be facing Goldberg, to get the win. So fuck you! This one sucked!
Fine. I accept that. If they need Rick Steiner out there so Brian Adams and Hammer can get powerbombed without Sid killing them, that's worth it. A recap of the Owen Hart tribute match. Play the 7 video.
Well, Brett was given last week off, but he thought it would slight the memory of his brother to not have a match in Kemp Arena. And they made history last week. They will do it again this week by teaming up together. I liked it.
So, 7's video is he's a ghost or something. And
he's a creeper. He's looking in the windows of children, Vinny. Yes. I mean a ghost.
Or a pedophile.
He's a creep.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it. I thought of my daughter.
He made eye contact with the
on the second floor, thankfully.
Their hands touched on the windows, and the little boy turned the camera, and his eyes were black. Now,
good idea, Brian.
Go ahead.
Can you see out the window on that thing?
No, but I need to listen. If I hear, we're all hitting that room. You understand? It's gonna be the new revolution.
I scare that kid.
Me, you, Craig, and Rob.
Well, yell at each other?
Well, we do already.
Yeah, all right.
Mostly you.
So it's supposed to be scary as hell and creepy and disturbing. And as this
I can't see the window here.
as this
blinds are closed.
child's face is peering into the camera with his black eyes, the West Texas Rednecks music plays.
Can you see how creepy that is? You ever use one of these?
No,
Yeah.
I have no baby.
You're always expecting to look into it and you like see a little elf run across the room. You know what I'm saying? Rob knows. Yes, Rob.
As long as she doesn't get up and start pointing at something random,
Ah!
it's fine.
I don't even want to hear it. They see things at that age, Vinny. Yeah, that we don't see.
I see.
Yeah. They say weird things too.
We see a lot of weird things.
I say weird things.
Isn't
You don't
that
want to
just
know,
what I said?
Vinny. You don't want to know.
I kind of do.
No, I don't.
Ric Flair versus Kurt Hennig.
You imagine what your cats would say if they talked to you, Vinny?
Yeah, they'd say, fuck you, give me my fucking food.
They'd say some weird shit too, let me tell you.
They're cats, dude. They say horrible things.
If they could talk, they'd all be in therapy, wouldn't they?
The cats?
No, the fucking dogs. Your dogs would be in therapy, not my cats. Oh my
I wasn't
god.
talking about you, douche.
Excuse me. If you
What are we talking about? What's happening?
Craig is trying to explain that if cats could talk, they'd be in therapy, but dogs are way more neurotic than cats. Am I wrong?
I'm not getting this argument. with you.
Don't even say yes. Get out of here, Vinny. Do you have a dog?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, they're more neurotic, aren't they?
They're more needy.
Okay, therapy. Go on, Vinny.
You are so smug.
No, I am not J.J. Dillon.
So Ric Flair and Kurt Hennig had a match. Neither of them cared.
Hey, it was pretty good.
Well, it's Kurt Hennig and Ric Flair, so it's going to be good even at 40%.
Although this was the other match this evening where Kurt Hennig is trying to pin Ric Flair. He's got his feet on the fucking top rope.
Much like Matt Hardy.
Literally, no, Matt Hardy was at least on the middle rope.
No, it was on the top rope.
Well, he's on the fucking top rope. Not only is he doing a handstand to try to pin Ric Flair, Curly Bill is on the apron holding his legs on the top rope.
Yeah.
This motherfucking referee doesn't even see it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it wasn't Nick Patrick. I literally could not believe it wasn't Patrick.
Maybe he was in disguise.
No, it was that other guy.
So David Flair runs out, yanks Curly Bill off the apron. Hennig is distracted. Flair wins with the schoolboy, and it's Flair, so of course he holds the tights too. Did we mention that at one point in this match, Ric Flair hit Kurt Hennig in the balls, and Hennig sold it by doing a moonwalk?
He did.
That happened.
It was impressive.
Yes. Recap of Lex hitting Brett with a baseball bat. This led to the total package and Rick Steiner versus Bret Hart and Chris Benoit.
What the hell happened to the return of Scott Steiner? He returned a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he cut a promo and he's gone again.
And we never saw him again.
So I looked down on the screen. I can see there's very little time left in the show. Mm-hmm. And we had a technical difficulties disclaimer when the show started. And it aired again here. I thought, oh, clearly they've lost 5 minutes of the main event.
No, Vinny. There was one tiny audio and one tiny visual glitch.
10 seconds of...
And so as a result, on the bottom of the screen is the following words, which are in all caps, okay? I'm going to read the entire thing that's written on the screen here during these glitches, all right? Presented in the most complete form possible due to original production technical difficulties. Do you know how much of the screen this took up? This was so much more intrusive than the actual issues that I wouldn't even have fucking noticed had they not had that giant crawler. I couldn't even watch half this match.
If they hadn't thrown that up, I just would have figured we had some kind of buffering problem.
And then,
Anyway.
I don't know if you noticed, but Chris Benoit put Rick Steiner in the crossface, and Bobby Heenan said, and I quote, "Rick Steiner will never quit." Because it was a shout out to Gorilla. That was Gorilla's favorite line. The babyface will never quit anytime they were putting a hold. He killed every hold that every heel had.
Most of the abdominal stretch, they did not use A-plus perfect technique and grapevine the leg behind their own
It
leg.
didn't matter. You could put any submission on a babyface, and Gorilla Monsoon would insist, he'll never quit. Never quit.
Anyway, Sid attacked for the DQ in 4 minutes. Goldberg makes the save. speared. He goes to spear Rick Steiner, who of course is a big, strong, tough, dangerous man. And Rick says, "I'm going to make this look as violent as possible just by launching myself straight up into the air." So Goldberg charges. Rick jumps up. Goldberg spears him out of midair, just sends them both catapulting across the ring. It was awesome.
DDTs himself on the head.
He did.
Actually, that was in the last match. Never mind.
So Sid gets a mic. He's taunting Goldberg. "You can't put your hands on me. You can't do nothing. This, that, this." And Goldberg says, "Fuck it," and spears him.
That was awesome.
It was great.
It actually was completely awesome because they've done this for several weeks now. Sid's taunting him here. He's taunting him there. If Goldberg touches him, he forfeits his title opportunity.
Yes.
Finally, Sid is standing right in front of him with that stupid mic, cutting a stupid promo. And Goldberg turns to leave, and then he just says, "Fuck it." He spears this fucking guy. And Sid was Frankenstein that got shut down. Like, they brought him back to life with electricity, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, whatever happened
The batteries ran out
to turn him off. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Sid's just laying there in dead man's position. I thought that Goldberg was going to, like, jackhammer him. But Sid's so dead that Goldberg goes down like he's going to get him. And he just stops and goes and poses on the rope, and the show goes off the air. And, of course, there's a cliffhanger now.
Yes.
Is he going to get his title match?
This was not the go-home show.
No.
At the time, I thought it was. I realized I was mistaken.
Yes.
This makes more sense with at least one more week to go, because now next week is, can Goldberg get his match back?
No, next week is Russo shows up, and everything just goes in a disarray.
Jeez.
He
starts
Whatever you
turning
enjoyed here, you're never going to find out where it was going to go, if I recall correctly. You won't, because they have that tournament.
There's that tournament coming up, yeah.
That fucking tournament. Oh, my God.
So he comes in, he scraps everything, and he just starts over.
Yes. I believe he strips everybody of all the titles. Wow. I don't actually remember exactly what it was, but like that was one of his things that he liked to do was, let's just start all over again with everything. And I know we have a tournament for the world title, so clearly they're not doing this one. I know Medusa's in it twice. I remember that. There's like 32 men. They're all like a minute long, these tournament matches. Yeah.
Brian, do you have my music ready?
Aye.
So dramatic.
The finishes on this show were shitty DQ and a great opener. Clean pin, clean submission, clean pin. Pin after shenanigans in a street fight. Pin after interference against both dudes with a third man standing in the ring. Clean pin. Pin after chain shot by three dudes who all hate each other. Pin after interference. Pin after interference. DQ after interference.
That's it, baby. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the Raw Nitro show. Next week, it all changes. Russo shows up on Nitro, and he's long gone from WWE. And I seem to recall that WWE still sucks for a while, but then it starts to turn around.
Well, there's no evidence that it does not.
Yeah, like in the winter, the winter months turns around. So anyway, that's it, everybody. Check out video.f4wonline.com. We got tons of shows up on the front page, all sorts of great stuff, and that is it. We shall talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Bye.